Ciao Sara.
Ciao.
Ciao. So thank you so much. I really appreciate you decide to do this chat with me. Let's call it chat, that is less
Okay.
informal. I want to introduce you to my Italian audience and the American audience as well. I'm Sara Z from Los Angeles, La La Land. I'm with Sara Edmondson. Sara is a Canadian actress and writer. And lately, she's been involved with Nexium, which was, let's say, a disguised self-help organization, Sara.
Sure.
Yeah, let's call it that way. And it was founded by Keith Raniere, that now has been sentenced to life in prison. Sara wrote a wonderful book that I read. Thank you, Sara, for sending it to me. It's great. I really recommend it. If you really would like to know all the inside out and all the details of Nexium organization, or called ESP, Executive Success Program, read Sarah's book, Scarred. And you can find it wherever they sell books, right? Online, Sara, and on Amazon, I think everywhere.
Everywhere, and also Audible. I narrated the Audible version, so that's kind of
cool. You narrated. Wow, how long did it take for you?
Well, we split it up to small chunks because I was breastfeeding my second baby at the time. So we did 4-hour sessions of about 5 days, so maybe approximately 20 hours.
20 hours. Okay, it wasn't too bad. Like, did you enjoy doing that? Did you enjoy?
I did.
See?
Yeah, because I had never read the book, start to end. I was writing and sending drafts and back and forth with my co-writer and my editor, and it was all haphazard. And I also had a newborn at the time, so it was a bit crazy, the timing of it all. But so to read it out loud in one go was very kind of cathartic, even more so than writing the book, to hear all like, wow, this is what happened from a more outside point of view.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure probably was like very therapeutic for you to read it. Like, even if you were inside, probably you were able to be detached as well somehow. And let me, Sara, I'm sorry, like I'm going to translate a little bit in Italian for the Italian audience. So, sono con Sara Edmondson, è un'attrice canadese e una scrittrice, ed è stata purtroppo ultimamente coinvolta in una setta, un'organizzazione che si chiama Nexium. And by the way, you can find her on IMDb, you can find all of her work as an actress. And so questa organizzazione in realtà era una setta, e Sara ha fatto parte di questa setta per 12 anni. È stata fondata da Keith Raniere e ora Keith è in prigione, gli hanno dato l'ergastolo, e ha scritto un libro, si chiama Scarred. Non so se è in italiano, I'm not sure it's in Italian, but it might no, not yet, non ancora in italiano, però per chi parla inglese, per favore, Scarred di Sara Edmondson, e potrete leggere tutti i dettagli di questa sua esperienza, all the details of our journey. Okay, basta, I'm done. I'm done. Sara, so you have spent 12 years in Nexium, and what was for you Nexium? Like, why did you decide to participate?
Yeah, so there's always like what I thought it was and then what it actually was. But when I joined, I thought it was a group, a personal and professional development program. And I thought it was a community and a group of people who were trying to, and it's hard for me to talk about now because it's so obviously not that. But they did a really good job of creating, what I've since learned about how groups like this work is that the inner core is rotten and there's all sorts of nefarious or unethical behavior going on, but they don't show that. And on the outside, there has to be some sort of honey. My husband's here and he's making so much noise.
Oh,
you have to be quiet. It's too loud.
Ciao.
She says ciao. He's got his headphones in, but
okay.
Drinking and anyway, we're in a small-ish condo and not quarantine anymore, but we're supposed to stay home as much as possible.
Yeah, you are in. Am I wrong? You are in Vancouver, right, Sara?
In Vancouver, yeah.
Ok, Vancouver, sì, Canada. Sì, dicevi che Sara è entrata a far parte di questa organizzazione, ma non sapeva che poi in realtà era una setta, o si è trasformata in una setta, perché ovviamente all'inizio ti danno il miele, no? They give you the honey, like the good thing, and then it transformed and it morphs into something else. Scusami.
Yeah. So what we thought were these really wonderful personal and professional courses and tools for helping you essentially work through your limiting beliefs and to overcome blocks that you might have in your life to have the best version of yourself. And those are all things that I've since learned that the leaders, or specifically Keith, took from other modalities and put them in his training.
Oh, okay. So he was, I read he was taking something from Scientology or like other different
more legitimate companies, more like I think what he took from Scientology is different ways to punish people and sort of an overall structure of like never ending enlightenment, so like that's one, by the way, like tip I always tell people: if you're joining a program that like doesn't have an ending,
sì, quindi sì, Sara dice che Ranieri, che è stato il fondatore, lui non è che ha creato veramente questo programma, ma in realtà lui ha preso diciamo le nozioni da altre compagnie, come per esempio Scientology. Va da Scientology forse il livello di punizione, Sara dice, e comunque it never ends, non c'è una fine quando fai parte di queste organizzazioni, programmi. Infatti, Sara, what surprised me, you liked it because I'm sure it was very beneficial for you at the beginning. So you got something good out of it, right? I think like 100%. For your success or self-esteem. And maybe did it help, or did you think it could help your acting career as well?
Yeah, that's the main reason I joined. And in truth, it did help at the beginning before I had put more of my life force into the group. It helped me with my auditions, with audition nerves. It helped me to, follow through on building relationships and, leaving an agent that wasn't a great agent and getting a better one, and that kind of thing. Like, not that she wasn't a great agent, it's not great for me, and I wanted to make those changes, but like those conversations are hard, and the curriculum helped me be more direct in my communication. It helped me be more clear on what my goals were. It helped me overcome fear and anxiety. So all of those things are great. I just had to realize later those things weren't created by Keith.
They weren't created, right? You say, so quello che lei faceva, ovviamente questi programmi, questi corsi la aiutavano per la sua carriera come attrice, perché comunque aumentano la tua stima, ti aiutano ad avere più successo, a essere più determinata, però poi in realtà non è quello che questo Keith, il fondatore, aveva realmente creato. E in fact, like, it seemed like an exhausting marathon, climbing the ladder, but ultimately to arrive where did you want to be like at the end? Well,
it was sort of a vague concept of like that growth is something that it's a journey that you embark on to grow and evolve to be the ideal version of yourself. So that was a very unique thing for every person. For me, it was partly like achieving certain success in my career goals, and then also being like a kind of person that I wasn't at the time. So, everyone in ESP and in NXIVM had certain issues that they were working on in the company. And those issues were basically the things that we would say about ourselves, like why I was there. Like, for example, wanting to have deeper relationships, babe. Deeper relationships, or like, here, I'm doing it right now, being controlling. Like, I like to have things a certain way, and that would be limiting in my relationships because it'd be challenging to live with me. So to be more flexible and outgoing and more relaxed, like there's.
So that's what you wanted, right? You wanted to be more relaxed.
I don't even think I would use the word relax. I just didn't want to be controlling.
Non volevi, Sara dice non tanto quando lei ha iniziato a partecipare a questi corsi, non voleva tanto essere più rilassata, però voleva controllare meno la sua vita, e lei pensava che grazie a questi programmi o corsi avrebbe potuto farlo. Sorry, scusate. And Yeah, and so at the end, because you not that you founded, but you opened a center in Vancouver where you live, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You decided to be part of it, and if you don't mind me asking,
Sure.
You were recruiting. It seems such a big word, recruiting.
We didn't use the word recruitment. We used the word enrollment.
Enrollment. Let's
Enrollment,
use
yeah.
You were, yeah,
Oh,
or you
sure,
were,
it's the same thing.
Sì, perché Sara, lei ha aperto un centro, diciamo, ha gestito un centro di Nexium a Vancouver dove lei vive e inoltre reclutava delle persone per far parte di questi programmi. How was the approach? How were you able to talk to people in order to be enrolled in this program?
Really in the same way that I was enrolled, which is that I met somebody who I respected and admired, and he told me about what he was doing, and I was like, I want to be a part of that. So oftentimes people would come to me and say, like, whatever you're doing, I want to join it. Like, I like the energy of you and your friends and this whole thing. And so that happened, and I'd meet people out and about, and we were taught to look for the bright lights, to look for leaders and look for people who had influence over people, because the idea was that we'd reach people and they'd bring in their network and then it would grow. Ironically, Keith called enrollment, like he said, it was synonymous with building humanity. So
building humanity.
Yeah. So we thought we were like building this special club of people who wanted to grow and work on themselves and change the world. And like, it kind of makes me nauseous when I talk about it, because it's such a falsehood that we, and to have been so active as a recruiter, enroller, whatever, and to have vouched for Keith as a good person is that's been part of my healing journey, to recognize how I got duped, you know?
Sì, Sara dice, I'm going to translate a little bit.
Sure.
Sara dice che, lei chiamava o comunque cercava di coinvolgere le persone in questo programma come è stata lei coinvolta, conosceva o incontrava gente e a queste persone piaceva la sua personalità, they liked her personality and her determination, e loro dicevano, se tu sei così, grazie a questo programma anch'io voglio farlo, anch'io voglio essere con te, e da lì poi iniziava la strada verso i corsi o in questa organizzazione di Nexium. And what I saw the documentary The Vow, which I really, really liked, and I really liked you, of course. Otherwise, I would never ask you.
Thank you. I like you too.
Grazie, ho detto, mi è piaciuta molto Sara nel documentario The Vow. Non so se c'è in Italia. I'm not sure in Italy HBO is available. But if you have an access, watch The Vow again. The Vow and the book Scarred. It gives you a very better explanation that we cannot cover in a live.
No, it's true.
Dovete guardare The Vow, il documentario, e leggere il suo libro Scarred per capire veramente che cosa succedeva in Nexium. Comunque, when I watched it, and you talk about DOS, which was the Dominus Obsequious, the Dominus, Obsequious Sororium, right? In Latin, like the master of slave women. Do you think, was that the ultimate goal of Keith, or is something that happened later? Like he decided at the beginning that he wanted, a successful program for women, for
No. For sure, he's always had bad intentions. I don't know how long ago he started planning DOS, but the people that I know who left even before DOS was a thing said that that's what their life was like. People who were in his inner circle, part of his like harem of women who have since left and been vocal, said that DOS was just a amplified version of what he's always done in terms of having people feeling blackmailed, but they couldn't leave. He just made it more official.
Oh, okay. I really thought it was something that he came up with the other actress.
No, he'd been planning it for a long time.
I see. Can you start explain a little bit about DOS? Just
sure. I may that may be one of the questions that I say. Watch the show or read the book. And hold on, sorry, the baby's up. Can you grab Ace and try to keep him?
Intanto I translate in Italian, and so DOS era un programma dove le donne partecipavano, però era a sfondo sessuale. Loro venivano ricattate, dovevano inviare delle foto di loro nude. Lettere finte dove dicevano nelle lettere di essere state abusate dalla famiglia, cioè cose horrific things about. I was translating and saying in Italian about the collateral, queste garanzie che vi chiedevano. So it was a women group, but sexual.
Yeah, so a little bit of context. It was we were told it was a women's group, nothing to do with Nexium. Women trying to uphold each other and be the best version of it. Was like a heightened version of everything else we'd been doing, with more structure and more discipline, and with more of a common goal towards doing good things in the world. And it was supposed to be secret.
Oh, okay. Sì.
Clearly, I broke my secrecy.
Sorry, Sarah?
Clearly, I broke my secrecy commitment.
Oh, we're not supposed to.
No, well, I mean, I'm joking because I went public, so I broke that at the beginning.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah. Sì, of course, perché poi Sara ne ha parlato alla stampa, nel documentario, quindi ha rotto questo segreto, che in realtà questo gruppo era un gruppo segreto, quindi loro non potevano dire nulla, ecco perché venivano ricattate con foto e altre cose, punizioni, eccetera. I was thinking if I had to translate. What I asked Sara before, it was about DOS, that was the name of this women group. Il nome DOS era il nome di questo gruppo di donne, e io le ho chiesto prima se quella era la vera intenzione del fondatore Keith, oppure è stata un'idea che gli è arrivata dopo anni in Nexium. Invece Sara mi ha detto no, questo gruppo DOS, questo gruppo di donne schiave, sessualmente, vendendosi sessualmente, era già un'idea di Keith. Let me follow my notes. Seguo i miei appunti. Oh, in the book, what's important, I read, you talk about indoctrination, that they were using some techniques, daily techniques. Do you feel like saying a little bit, like talk about a little bit those techniques that they were using on a daily basis? So parlo delle tecniche di indottrinamento che usavano in questa setta Nexium.
There's a book that I read when I left called Combating Cult Mind Control by Stephen Hassan. And he's one of the world's leading experts in these topics. And he explained how people can actually be indoctrinated quite easily in like a workshop setting in as little as 3 days. So if you stay for an entire 5-day training, you can have your entire belief system completely reprogrammed. Not necessarily the entirety of it, but it's like you have a shift between your true identity and then what becomes your cult identity. And the cult identity is almost on top, and it gets reinforced through the curriculum, through behavior control, through various traditions and rules and rituals that the group has as part of their daily routine, in terms of being accountable or in terms of believing certain things. I'm not an expert at it.
You're saying 3 days only. You can be, program yourself. Like you can decide, okay, this is it. This is what I want to do.
It's not even that you're deciding. People go to workshops and they can be indoctrinated without them even knowing.
Ho capito, sì. Allora, sì. Lei dice che queste tecniche di indottrinamento già dal terzo giorno facevano il loro effetto e possono cambiare totalmente il tuo processo di pensiero. Quindi c'è una Sara, o Sara Zanetti, una Sara Edmondson, e poi c'è la Sara che viene riprogrammata già dal terzo giorno, quindi senza essere consapevole tu entri in questo indottrinamento. I mean, unconsciously you get into the indoctrination without even realizing it.
Yes.
Also, they show you what I see. What I saw in the documentary or reading a lot of books is something is so good at the beginning, because when I listen to what he was saying at the beginning in the first episodes of The Vow, I'm like, well, that's true.
Good, right?
That's good. No, that is right. You know, you're like, seems like enlightening you with his thoughts. So, and then towards the end, the things that he was saying that we don't have to talk about raping and kids, like, we're like, wait,
yeah.
It's like at the beginning it was shifting slowly, but you are already inside. So
yeah, and also like some of the things you've seen in the various documentaries that are out there, where they talk about where Keith is talking about awful things, like with babies. Like I just can't even say it. It seems like the way it's edited, that what he's saying is that like he believes in that, or that you should do that, and he wasn't saying. I mean, I think he was normalizing it, which we didn't clue into, but it was under a different context. So for somebody watching those documentaries, they may go, well, that's a huge red flag. That's when you should get out. But the way he was talking about it would be things like, for example, like with the thing with babies. So I want to clarify that. He would say something, this is an acting program, and I was sitting in that class. He was saying, when you're an actor and you're playing a bad person, a villain, you need to be able to imagine doing the worst possible thing that you can imagine, because that's what the character does. Like, and he said, for example, hurting a baby. I'm not even going to say it. And so horrendous. So he wasn't saying, I do this, right? He was saying, so when you take that clip out of context, it sounds even worse than it is. And in my opinion, you don't need to make Keith worse than he is. He's already a monster.
Sì, infatti.
You know what I mean?
Probably he was trying to say that potentially you can do those horrific things, because if you play a character, like if you are not yourself, but you are another self, like another
he was talking about that in the format of an acting class, imagining being a villain. Okay. So he wasn't saying, now what I think is bad about that is that he was subconsciously normalizing rape. Right? But when you watch it, some of those clips as a viewer, you go like, what? Like, he's saying what? That should be a huge red flag, but it wasn't as obvious as that, is what I'm saying.
Oh, capito. No, that's a good point, Sarah, because, and that's what I thought while I was watching it. I was like, wait, is this the editing, the way they want to portray?
It was edited very irresponsibly, in my opinion.
Okay.
Because that's not necessary. You don't need to make him worse.
No, infatti, because already the things he was doing, and it was saying like subconsciously they were putting the scene in your mind. So,
and just to add one more thing, I remember sitting in that class and saying to my husband, I was still uncomfortable with it. I said, why is he like, what a terrible example. If that video ever got in the wrong hands, that would destroy him. Taken out of context. Like, I was even thinking that watching him, going, why is he using that example? It's inappropriate, you know?
Sì, infatti, so in Italian abbiamo detto che Keith Raniere, il fondatore di Nexium, di questo ESP program, Executive Success Program, lui nel documentario specialmente fa degli esempi orrendi, perché lui parla di far del male ai bambini o addirittura stuprarli, che sembra la normalità. Lui lo fa sembrare come una cosa totalmente normale. Why not? There was a line in the vow, Sarah. It said, why not? Raping a kid, why not? I'm like, wait.
So that was him talking about being a character who would do that.
Ok, sì, esatto. Quindi quando noi spettatori vediamo questa persona dire queste cose, dici ma com'è possibile? Ma Sara mi ha appena spiegato che era in un contesto di una classe di recitazione, in an acting class, like if you would play a character. So se tu devi interpretare un malvagio, queste cose sarebbero ammissibili, però il contesto era totalmente diverso, è stato montato il documentario, quella parte è stata montata non in maniera corretta. So it wasn't editing in the correct in a correct way, because she said it was already a monster, there wasn't any need to add even more. Lui era già un mostro, non c'era bisogno di rappresentarlo con questo esempio out of context, fuori dal contesto. Sì.
Yes, which just reminds me of something I feel now, which is just so sad, is that the whole thing has been so sensationalized, you know, and it doesn't need to be. Like it in and of itself, it is sensational in terms of it is just beyond the pale of what somebody can do to another person. But when it gets sensationalized and people's names, you know, there's so much collateral damage, especially to people who are part of the group, like the good part of the group, and they can't move on with their lives because their names have been dragged through the mud and people don't understand how these things work, which has been a big part of why I wanted to be so public, to explain, you know, there's this and then there's this. And
certo, ovviamente, perché sì, lei Sara dice tutto questo è stato sensazionalizzato. I'm not sure if this is the right Italian word. I think so. I want to look it up on the dictionary right now. But sì, è diventato una sensazione, è diventato più quasi un pettegolezzo. Let me pass the word, like, can we say, became like a gossip thing of talking about, you know.
Like these are people's lives, you know, this happened to real people.
Infatti è successo veramente, esatto, a delle persone reali, però hanno spettegolato molto riguardo a questo, ma non in maniera efficace o in maniera giusta, e questo proprio in base anche a quello che vi ho appena tradotto di quello che lui dice di far male ai bambini, ma era in un contesto di una classe di recitazione, quando interpreti un personaggio. Comunque, that being said.
Can I jump ahead for a second? Because one of the things I'm doing now is working with a number of cult experts and people in the field to start a hashtag movement.
Oh, great, Sara, brava.
Yes, and it's similar to Me Too with hashtag Me Too. It's hashtag I Got Out, and I was just getting started, and I'm very excited about it because the goal is to encourage people to share their stories. And I'll just share with you that so many people have reached out to me to say thank you for the book and for the series, because it has allowed them space to own their experience, and even to say to friends and other people in their lives, okay, because The Vow became very popular and it seemed like it was part of the zeitgeist and everybody's watching it. And so people could say, okay, you saw The Vow? Like, I kind of went through that too in a different group, you know? So people who have been involved in different cults have felt they had to suppress themselves because they didn't want to share their story because of the stigma around cults, so that they were stupid for getting conned, and there's a lot of embarrassment and shame. So we're hoping that the movement can help people to come out and share their stories and peer-to-peer support.
Sono sicura, sì. Sara ha appena creato un movimento per le persone che sono state all'interno di alcune sette che non hanno il coraggio di parlare di questo perché si sentono giudicate per tanti fattori. E questo gruppo si chiama hashtag I Got Out, right? Anyways, you can see it as live over and over because it's going to be on my Facebook page and it's going to be on Instagram again, so you can definitely rewind what Sara is saying. So hashtag I Got Out. E questo è molto bello perché lei sta cercando di aiutare le persone coinvolte nelle sette e che non hanno la forza per farlo. E talking about getting to a cult, I'm thinking, who do you think is the ideal person to be drawn into a cult? Is there, you think, an ideal person?
I think there's a couple of different things that I've seen. I think that there's always the sort of general through line. It has to be someone who, well, it doesn't have to be. It's usually somebody who's looking for something outside of themselves, some structure, a group, a community. Oftentimes they're in some sort of transition, maybe in between jobs or in between relationships, or they just moved to a new town. And that vulnerability, I say that loosely because I think that's a very human thing to go through.
Certo, all of us, we like at one point in our life, we go through something. I think all of us, no exception.
Yeah, so you're going through something, and in that time, reconnecting with or meeting somebody who invites you to be a part of something, and because you're open and looking, or maybe, in a more extreme situation, feeling sort of broken or lost in some way, and then here comes, ta-da. I mean, when I look back at NXIVM, a lot of the women who devoted their lives or got in at a very young age, like late teens, early 20s, and they got just hooked in a way that I like to think that I didn't. I mean, I did in terms of I made it my life to a degree, but I never got close to Keith.
Okay.
At arm's length, thank goodness.
Thank you.
But so many women just got sucked right in. And I think that also largely, like when I look at all of us, we were all very idealistic.
Yeah, sì, Sara dice che comunque gli ho chiesto qual è la persona ideale per entrare in una setta o per essere coinvolta in una setta. Lei dice chiunque stia soffrendo nella vita per un cambiamento nella propria vita, può essere un cambio di lavoro, può essere in una relazione, qualsiasi cosa che fa soffrire, in quel momento ti arriva davanti questa opportunità di crescere, un'opportunità, I would say something more stable in that moment of your life, and you grab it, qualcosa di più stabile nella tua vita, e tu la prendi, la afferri, perché sai che può aiutarti a venire fuori da un periodo buio. It can help you to come out of a very dark period. And there are so many forms, I think, of, let's say, cults. It could be maybe being with someone that is not good for you, but in that moment, you need that kind of relationship, even if it's a bad relationship. Or it could be a bad job, but in that moment has something good for you, but then it reveals to be a bad choice. And then it's hard to get out of a bad job, of a bad relationship. So, I mean, culting can be such a broad term, scusa.
Or you're just even a situation where someone's using coercive control. And even though the vow has helped a lot of people with, processing cult-related trauma, people have also reached out saying, I totally relate just from a relationship I was in, or, how my corporate culture was with my boss or whatever. So it's not this process, and these things don't just happen in cults.
Esattamente, sì. Sara dice questo tipo di costrizioni o di essere obbligata a fare qualcosa, punizioni, non avvengono solo in una setta, ma può essere in un ambiente di lavoro, può essere in una relazione, in a relationship as well, I think. What do you think? So why this Keith was so fascinating and appealing? Like, what did he have that, because he wasn't, I mean.
Yeah, I know.
But there were some moments in the vow that from the outside, I would look at him and say, I can understand, because, okay, it's not about beauty, it's about your personality, your aura around, the way you talk, you communicate, and that's what, people are, especially people, when tu parlavi delle persone specialmente più giovani, non ho tradotto questo, che le ragazze più giovani e più vulnerabili ovviamente è pane per i suoi denti, nel senso che loro sono più fragili e quindi più suscettibili a questo tipo di organizzazioni, di indottrinamento o indottrinamenti. E le ho chiesto cos'è aveva di così affascinante questo Keith, perché fisicamente non lo era, però he had something that.
Well, I think at least for me, and I can't speak for everybody else, but I didn't meet him until after I'd taken a certain amount of curriculum, which I really loved. And so, and also through the whole curriculum, the training itself, all the teachers were edifying. You know the word edifying?
Like it's like the spelling, Sarah.
Like it's like paying tribute. Like,
paying tribute.
So and so is so great. They're this, they're that, and they're the smartest person.
Like worshipping as well. Can you, as a synonym, can you say worshipping or no? Or
yeah, but edifying is more like if someone's doing it, like at the beginning of this interview, you edified me.
Okay, give me again the spelling, Sara.
Edify, EDIFY.
FY.
So it's like, you edified me as a writer, as an artist. Like it tells your audience who I am.
Okay, like edificare, educare, istruire, or like, but it's not endorsing someone, right? It's
It kind of
is. Like, see, edify. Okay, I got it.
Yeah, it's a little bit more formal, like at the beginning of a speech or someone saying, I want to introduce you to so-and-so. So by the time you meet them, you're like, oh, wow, they're this person. You know, that's cool.
Ho capito, okay. Sì, dai una visione della persona, che tipo di persona è, perché dici questa è un'attrice, una scrittrice, quindi, ok.
So by the time I met him, I had a vision of who he was and I respected him very much. You know, based on what he had built and, the training that I had taken. So I saw him in a certain way and I respected him and I thought, wow, like what a great mind, you know? So there's what we call like the Greek chorus. There's all these people around him. My husband calls it pumping your tires. Like you're pumping someone's tires for them. Like you're making them bigger than they are. Or like,
in Italian we say, actually we have a similar expression. We say pompare qualcuno. Pompare is to pump.
Yeah, okay.
So we say that. It's the same in Italian. Like when you pump someone, you say, he's great, he's this, he's that, he has done that. And you're like, e Sara dice, con tutto questo vociferare di come era Kit, lei ovviamente ha detto che splendida persona che è. Sì.
So he never pumped his own tires. He always had other people pumping his tires. He was very humble. He would say things like, I'm not a guru. I'm just this, this man who has these ideas. And so he was very, he made himself approachable and yet not approachable. I think what he did is he studied other gurus and figured out how to create this persona. And also at the same time learned how to mimic through acting the physical attributes of somebody who's humanitarian and has empathy, but actually has none.
Ho capito. Sì, Sara dice che lui comunque era molto umile, come si è presentato a lei. Diceva, no, io non sono un guru, no, non sono questo, ma erano gli altri più a pomparlo. E ovviamente lei dice, secondo Sara, lui ha studiato, ha cercato di emulare le caratteristiche di una persona spirituale, ma lui in realtà non la era. Lui lo usava ovviamente per adescare le persone, i membri. Yeah, it's
I'm actually following along your Italian much more than I thought I would.
Tu mi capisci, Sara? Do you understand me in Italian?
Some things, yeah. Persona spirituale. Certain things.
Sì, ma secondo me se io parlo italiano mi capisci. It's easier to understand another language than speaking the language. So I'm sure.
I'm catching bits.
That's good. Yeah. So we're going to learn Italian as well.
Yes, and I have to let you know that my husband's bringing my son out, so we're going to try to have as much as a conversation as we can until it's distracting.
It's okay. And if your baby wants to be with you, maybe no, I shouldn't listen. No.
He's fine. He's 19 months. He won't understand. But
no.
But tell me, just in case, tell me your most pressing questions.
Okay. No, the other question I actually wanted to talk about your book. There was something in your book you wrote that you could never question the curriculum. And because the answer was, what do you make it mean? Or I think you are vested. I personally, ciao.
This one's Ace.
Oh, Ace.
Oh. Fall.
Who's that? Questo è il figlio di Sara, Ace, e si è svegliato, per cui Sara probabilmente dovrà andare via. She probably has to leave, but I wanted to... Oh, no. He's not alive.
Wait, we keep talking for a minute. I'm going to give him something to eat. I'll bring him back over here, okay?
Ok, sì.
Cover some stuff in Italian. I'll be right back.
Ok, no, non c'è problema. Vai.
I'll be right back.
Sara deve, credo, allattarlo, deve comunque dargli qualcosa da mangiare. Quindi, se avete qualcuna delle domande, non so quante persone sono live, qualche domanda per Sara, forse posso rispondere. O intanto era una catena, Nico, sì. Sì. E tra l'altro lei non vuole parlare di alcune cose, infatti il libro è abbastanza explanatory. Mi viene la parola in inglese, ma non in italiano. Explanatory. Esplicativo, mamma mia, non mi vengono sempre le parole in italiano. E quindi è meglio leggerlo, però come ho detto prima, in italiano non c'è ancora, probabilmente lo pubblicheranno. E tra l'altro ora le ho chiesto che nel libro lei dice che non poteva fare delle domande sul programma di studi, sul piano studi. Because the answer, la risposta è what do you make it mean? Or I think you're invested.
Yes.
Non ho capito bene. I didn't understand. I think you're invested.
Sure. Okay, so they basically had this definition of being, if you're vested in something, that you need it to be a certain way to be okay.
Ho capito. Allora, vested significa che devi essere in un certo modo per stare bene. So, what do you make it mean? Did I mean like whatever it means for you is good?
Yeah, so like if I say to you, I'm trying to think of a good example. Like, what's something that bothers you?
Oh God. It bothers me people that lie, liars. Like
okay.
lies.
Give me something like a more like on a day-to-day, like something that's trivial, like not as in, not, because to me that's more about your principles being violated.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so
something.
Yeah.
In a day, like on a daily basis.
Yeah.
That I like.
Hi, buddy.
Oddio, I don't know. Non so.
Yeah. Well, okay. Let me give you an example. Like one of the first things I worked on is that I needed, like if my boyfriend at the time left dishes in the sink.
Oh, maybe Sara, maybe like loud sounds, or like those sounds that you can hear outside, but you don't know where they're coming from. But it's a constant little sound that bothers me. It could be.
Sure, yeah, or like I'm trying to think of something that like I think everybody might relate to, like for example, like somebody confronting you, or like giving you feedback.
Oh, ok, il feedback,
Yeah,
magari of my book or my pilot, o di qualcosa, di un...
Yes. Oh my goodness. Ace, come back here, please. You got earbuds. Come here. This might be a very distracted part of the call.
No, it's also, I think we only have an hour, Sara, and we did 43 minutes. So we might...
Can I have them? Can I have it? Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to give you this. You can have my phone. Here. You give me those.
Sara, ora le do il tuo telefono.
Okay.
E lei mi ha chiesto qualcosa che... Cos'è fastidio nella tua vita o qualcosa che ti annoia? Stavamo parlando di questo.
Okay, wait, let me answer your question real quick.
Sì.
So the thing with meaning is that if I have a reaction to something, it goes on the principle that they taught us that we could be happy at any time, that we cause our own emotions. So if something is causing us unhappiness, it's because we make it mean something.
Okay,
right?
So you're the one deciding what it causes happiness or pain. Okay.
So if someone's giving me negative feedback and I'm upset about it, they say, well, what do you make it mean? I'm like, well, I'm not a good person, or I'm less than, or I'm not loved, or I'm not okay. And they would say, well, what if it doesn't mean that?
Oh.
So you like, what if their negative feedback doesn't mean you're a bad person? It just means you still have room to grow.
Chiaro, sì, sì. Lei diceva, esatto, che per esempio questa frase, what do you make it mean? Oh, I think you're vested, ed è un passaggio, it's a passage in her book, nel suo libro. Significa che se uno ti dà un feedback, non significa che tu sei una cattiva persona o che hai sbagliato nella vita, ma semplicemente è per farti crescere. Questo intendeva. Sì.
So how that came up, there's something in that that's good, that I can cause my emotions, I can be happy at any time. How it was used against me later is that if I said, I don't like what you're doing here, you're lying, like you said, lying is a bad thing. They say, well, you're just having a reaction. What are you making it mean that Keith is lying? What if Keith is lying to protect something good? That's how they would spin it. So they would change the meaning.
Sì, loro cambiavano il significato della sua percezione a quella domanda. Per esempio, se lei metteva in discussione che qualcosa non andava bene nell'organizzazione o nel programma, loro gli dicevano perché pensi che lui non sia nel giusto? Forse lui dice questo perché in realtà è proprio nel giusto, perché vuole il tuo bene, perché vuole che tu migliori. Quindi, I mean, your mind is like, oh, okay, because there's some truth even behind those words as well. So I think you non sai più qual è la verità. A un certo punto you don't know what's real and what's not real. But because we have just a few minutes. No!
I just want to just add one thing to that. And I said I wasn't going to talk about the branding, but now I will, because I didn't want to get the brand. And I said I didn't want it. And Lauren's, it's broken. Got to find the rest. And Lauren said to me, what if it means something different than what you think? What if it means your character and your honor and your commitment? So she changed the meaning. So asking, what do you make it mean? Is it that means different things to different people? I mean, she changed the meaning for me to benefit her.
Of course, sì, in modo che you could say, oh, you're right. Of course, I'm going to do it. I follow you because I understand your point of view. Allora, Sara, can I translate a little bit about the branding? So, Sara è stata marchiata con una penna ardente vicino al pube, vicino al... Lei non voleva parlare di questo, però in questo momento mi ha parlato perché quando la sua cara amica le ha detto ok, tu pensi che questo marchio sia una cosa brutta e negativa, invece perché non pensi che possa significare un modo per dare potere a noi donne, un modo per sentirci meglio nella società, avere indietro il nostro potere più quasi degli uomini. Quindi lei ha deciso di essere marchiata perché innanzitutto ha creduto alla sua amica e quindi ha creduto a una bugia, perché sì. A proposito di questo, Sara, can I read a passage of your book that was a letter to your good friend Lauren?
Do you want me to read it?
Oh yeah, sì. Sara ha scritto un passaggio.
Tell me what page it's on.
I don't know because I wrote it in my notes. So Sara ha scritto un passaggio, il passaggio del libro, una lettera indirizzata alla sua cara amica. Lei si è fidata tantissimo di lei, però poi in realtà lei l'ha tradita perché è stata lei a dirle di fare questo marchio con questa penna ardente, tra l'altro senza anestesia, per 30 minuti. Quindi lei leggerà questo passaggio in inglese. Yes, I think we have 5 minutes. Abbiamo 5 minuti.
Tell me,
Yeah, we have, I think, 5 minutes. If someone has any questions, please, Sara is willing to answer. Se avete delle domande, Sara risponderà. I love the idea of movement. I got out, very important for others. Grace says that. See, Grace, of course. And okay, yeah, let's read the passage of your book, and then what about you? What's next for you?
Sure.
We have 5 minutes. I don't want them to cut us out. I don't know. StreamYard, I think, gives us an hour.
Okay. What is do you know the page that the letter is on?
The page I don't, but I have. I think it's towards the end, Sarah. It was your last chapter, healing. Nell'ultimo capitolo.
And it was a letter that I wrote to her?
Yeah, you wrote, you didn't need to blackmail me to be a friend of yours for life. I was already committed. Aspetta. La pagina. Let me see if I found it. Allora.
I hope that you're doing some deep soul searching and working hard.
Okay, yeah, the part before, I think.
Oh.
Because we don't.
Oh, I got it. Lauren, I want you to know.
219.
Yes, I want you to know that Nippy and I were talking, and it's not that we hate you. We feel badly for you. You didn't need to blackmail me to be your friend for life. I was already committed. You betrayed me on a massive level, but I know you've been betrayed too. Mostly I feel sad for you, but I don't hate you.
Yeah.
And then I wrote, that was that one.
Yeah, so questo for me is pivotal in your book, especially what you wrote at the beginning about like your kids, and you're thankful to your kids and your family and your husband. They kept you grounded. And this is, by the way, it's beautifully written. And we can see, I mean, I can see, and I'm sure everyone can see who you are, like the Sara, that is now like a new Sara, like with this experience, but I think that now can build and create so much more based on what experience, because I think even our bad experiences can be some kind of good. Like we have to take the good out of it. Dobbiamo un po' prendere la parte buona di queste esperienze. Ma voglio tradurre questa parte. Allora Sara ha scritto a questa sua amica che l'ha tradita. Lauren, voglio che tu sappia che Nippy e io, Nippy e il marito, stavamo parlando di te e non ti odiamo. Anzi, noi stiamo male per te. Tu non dovevi ricattarmi per essere una mia amica per la vita. Io ero già impegnata a esserlo. Mi hai tradito a un livello esponenziale, ma io so che anche tu hai tradito te stessa. E più di tutto io sono triste per te, ma non ti odio.
So sorry.
No, this is very.
This is COVID life. It's hard to have childcare and quarantine and all those things. But you get it.
Sara, what's next now? Do you have any project like right now? What would you like as an actress? Are you back?
Yeah, I've just started acting again since post baby and post quarantine. The film industry is starting to get up and running again here. Yeah. This way you see what's going on here.
Let me see your place. Thank you for.
He's just traveling over everything.
Well, he's playing, Sara. Now he's busy. He's busy playing.
Yeah, he's busy playing. He's making a lot of noise. But yeah, I'm partnering with some other people in the cult recovery field, and like I said, I got out. I'm just figuring out what's next, whether it's going to be fully acting. Also really want to be focused on the kids. I feel like this fight's taking up a lot of my energy, and I want to be a more present mother. And then other than that, I would say
another book, Sara, maybe a writer, another book, maybe another book outside of this, outside of your experience, but maybe a novel. No,
maybe, yeah. Writing a book I found cathartic but very stressful, to be honest. So I think I just want to have kind of a normal life now and get back to family traditions, and then also being an advocate for women in these situations. I think is going to be part of the next stage of my journey, either becoming a psychotherapist or an exit counselor.
Okay,
something in that field.
Bene, ho chiesto a Sara che cosa farà dopo, quali altri progetti avrà. Lei vuole dedicarsi alla sua famiglia, dice che vuole una vita normale, ora dedicarsi ai suoi bambini e anche con questo movimento per donne che sono state in una setta, si dedicherà molto a questo con persone esperti di psicologhe che potranno aiutarla in questo. Probabilmente lei si indirizza in questa strada e le auguriamo tutto il bene. We wish you everything, Sara. I do like to create new projects and I'm looking forward to see what's next in your life. And also ha detto anche che riprenderà la sua carriera come attrice. She said she keep going with her acting career now. Ora che English Italia.
I will do a film in Italy. I'll tell you that. That's what I'll do.
Dai, come to Italy. I'm gonna be your cicerone. The cicerone is like the person who, I think you know, like who talks. Yeah. It takes you around. Puoi venire a Milano. We take you around in Milano or in my home city that is more like an hour from Milano, Emilia Romagna. Sì, allora Sara, I'm gonna let you go with your kids.
Yes, thank you so much for your time. It was so fun. Thank you for the great
Sara, do you have, last thing, do you have an expression or something that is good for you to repeat to yourself, like a phrase or a quote?
Oh gosh, I know so many now. I can't think of any. Let me think 1 second. I used to say, and you'll appreciate this given your background, leap and the net will appear.
Say again, Sara.
Leap, like take a jump and the net will appear. But I don't feel like in a circus, right?
Oh, like in a circus, like leap and the
net will appear.
The net. Oh sì, salta e la rete comparirà. La rete apparirà. Quindi like take a leap of faith. Like saltate e fidatevi di voi stesse, trust yourself and trust especially your instinct. If something is bad and you're in a situation that your instinct, your guts are saying that something is wrong, probably it is. So maybe let's walk out. And
so I used to say that more, leap and the net will appear. And then now I'm like, no, wait, look for a net.
Lei diceva salta e la rete apparirà e ora dice no, aspetta, prima di saltare.
So somewhere in between. And I think something I've said for a long time in the moments of the trauma is that this too shall pass. This too shall pass.
Questo passerà. Mm-hmm, certo. Va bene, Sara. The people will follow you. Sara Edmondson, her book, Scarred. Speriamo che esca in italiano. We hope to read it in Italian for people who don't have a chance to read it in English or cannot read in English. And one advice for someone before stepping into an organization, what should they look for? Che cosa devono stare attenti prima di entrare in una setta o in un'organizzazione?
I think it's do research on the group. If there are people who've left the group and have bad things to say, it's probably true.
Ok, quindi fate le vostre ricerche e se qualcuno ha un aspetto negativo da raccontarvi, fidatevi perché probabilmente è vero e state attenti. Va bene? Sì.
Oh, and also if there's somebody who's leading it, who's like claims to know all the answers and you can't question those things without being silenced or shamed in some way, that's a real red flag.
Okay. Or if someone cannot doesn't want to talk,
you can't ask questions. If if there's one leader who doesn't have, if they're not accountable to anybody.
Sì, e anche di stare attenti se il leader, quello che ha fondato l'organizzazione, qualsiasi sia, non vuole rispondere alle tue domande, non è accessibile a te, quello è già a red flag, un segnale per allontanarsi.
Yes.
Ok, andiamo con 1 minute and I want to save this live.
That was really fun.
We talk to each other on Instagram. I'm following you, and we talk. Grazie mille. Grazie veramente.
All the best with you in your life, and we'll be in touch.
Sì, please. Ciao. Un bacio. Ciao.
Ciao. Say ciao, ciao. Ciao, ciao. Ciao.
Ciao. Ciao.